Pat, we haven't spoken in like 4 minutes.
It's been years.
Actually, we never stopped talking. We've been on Skype the whole time.
If you listened to us last week, you know that that was the pre-wedding episode. This is technically still being recorded on that very same day, and I am not yet married in theory while saying these words, even though hopefully everything went well, and hopefully I'm in Canada while you're listening to this.
Yeah, future you, a married man 2 weeks from now, is in Vancouver.
Specifically on Friday when the episode drops, doing the Grouse Grind, which is a 3,000-step hike that saves you $10 for the trolley fee, or the gondola fee up to the top of one of their parks and overlooks the city. And Jesse and I will be putting our hiking shoes on and attempting that, trying to burn a week's worth of calories. In one single stair climbing session, pretty much.
Do you have to climb back down then?
No, you have to take the tram down. It's only a one-way thing, but like the tourist books say it like, travelers be warned, you've got to be at least, like, don't be pregnant or 90. And then, basically. So we thought that'd be kind of fun. At this point, we would have checked out Gastown and Chinatown and
Naptown, worldwide.
That's right. Crop Top, Halloween. We riding our bikes around Stanley Park, seeing some of the totem poles. Nice dinner at the tea house in Stanley Park, overlooking the water there. So,
what's the story with the totem poles?
It's just a large influence of the native people, I guess. There, so a lot of museums. I think at the University of British Columbia, they have a nice area. I don't know the history well enough to speak to it. All I know is that that's why the totems are there, I guess, and lots of history at the museums there to check out. And hopefully I will have checked it out by the time you're listening to these words. So, but we were going to talk. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think your wife hates me because with the words I say, I feel like she I hope she doesn't not like me is what I'm trying to say. I love that you went to Hawaii, and I've said this before on the show.
Oh my God.
Mason jars are cups. Hawaii is a dope place in this world. Asheville is very charming, I'm sure. Denver's a great place. Mountains are the best. And she's lovely. And last time we visited, there was just like a hint of like, Pat's got opinions about stuff. And it's like, I actually don't. And I'm just sorry. I'm very sorry for ever talking, really. Is mostly how that works. So I hope she had a good time at the wedding and things like that.
Yeah. Dude, no, she likes you. For sure.
Cool. I'm just going to worry about it for like a while longer, a few years.
Hey, can I say real quick, speaking of Canada and hikes and stuff, we went on this hike, I think it was at 11,000 feet, and we saw a bunch of moose. And I got some video, and they were going, "Ugh," and Levi was whining because he wanted to say hello. And it was cool. It was pretty cool. I don't like hiking. I don't like walking. I don't like being outside. I don't like the sun. But the 4 mile or so hike that we did, that portion was pretty nice, even though I was kind of dying without my inhaler because I forgot it. Yeah. It'll get you.
The most perilous hike I've ever done, both of them happened in New Mexico. One was to climb up the Sandias, up to the tram. That was like a 4-hour ordeal. You have to get there early to try to beat the sun. Like you try to start at around 7 at the latest, if I recall, and then you try to beat the sun up to the peak before it bakes you, literally, right? Like UFC fighters go to Albuquerque to train because they like do wind sprints, not wind sprints, but they train by using the altitude and things like that. So that was intense. And then Aaron took me up to Philmont, which is like the large Boy Scout camp out in northern New Mexico in Cimarron, near Cimarron. And Aaron Lonke, who you got to see this week, and I'd love to hear about the visit, actually.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's called the Tooth of Time because it looks like a giant molar, kind of, if you look at it upside down from a distance. The peak does. That was another 5-hour round trip. We had to hike back down, which is the part that got me, I think. But I've never sweat through a backpack as well. Like I've sweat through shirts for sure. But I think my sweat at this point made it out to the outer shell of a Jansport. So like ate jerky on the trail up and probably burned it all. Like there was probably nothing left to put into the toilet later that evening because it was just like Native Americans using every bit of a bison or something, just like the body saying, we need all of this because you're hiking more than you've ever hiked before, my boy. So Anyway, sorry. This is the hiking episode, everybody. We're just going to talk about times we were tired. Speaking of Aaron.
Yeah, I just saw him a couple days ago. He just organized like the biggest event in our city of Erie, shut down several blocks and have a lot of different events, different bands playing stuff. And
he's our first fan.
Yeah, he is Aaron of the Aarons.
Patient Zero.
Which we were so lovingly calling our audience for a while, then we forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was saying he didn't have much work-life balance. So as soon as the event ended, he told his boss he's leaving, just, for a long weekend, and flew down to New Mexico and drove into Denver with a bunch of tamales in hand. And we met up at some super shitty bar that like didn't have any soda, didn't have water, had a food menu, but it was for a food truck that was like down the block, and the server was a total dick. And but it was fine. It was good times. He met Megan, told some stories, kind of recalled some good times with the band. Yeah, it was super awesome seeing him. I haven't seen him in a long time.
I know you love this phrase, but if there was ever somebody to say he's good people to, it would be Aaron.
Good people, good people.
He's some of the best people.
But he's only one person, so I don't understand why that's a thing.
No, he encompasses all the goodness in humanity, I'm almost certain.
Oh.
He's one of those guys that's so nice and just pure that you question it for the first like decade of knowing him. You're like, what's your end game, man? Like Mindy Kaling in The Office saying like, who just says what they think? What's the angle on that? Just like, what's your deal, guy? And you're like, oh, you're just like totally pure-hearted and like want everybody around you to win and people that you love by spreading kindness. Oh, that's dope. So,
but what's the angle with that?
Yeah, really. But also, I'm going to keep my eye on you, bud.
I put a picture on our Instagram of the two of us after I received some amazing tamales. He said he made like 10 dozen with his old landlord in New Mexico.
New Mexico is, well, tamales are great. Homemade tamales are fantastic. My old roommate, Clark, the cast iron pot owning, meat grilling, truck rebuilding man's man, who listened to sludge grunge or whatever the frick the metal, stoner metal, which was like one note every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Love the guy. He's awesome. Anyway, wow. I took a roundabout way of getting into the story. So roundabout, in fact, that I forgot exactly what I was talking about, except for the fact that we're back here now, acknowledging the fact that homemade tamales are great. And there was this old lady who would come around and knock on doors whenever she had finished a batch. And that was like, in his words, and this might be false, but one of the most Mexican things that he had ever experienced. And probably the best, most delicious type of tamales that you could get, or if you were lucky enough to have this woman be knocking on doors in your neighborhood or be around her or know somebody who knew her. You weren't going to find it at any restaurant, but I'm glad you got to experience that.
Did she sell them or give them away?
Sell them.
Okay.
Yeah. But
an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Albuquerque's a magical place. I liked it a lot. And I got to hang out with Aaron a lot down there, which is odd. A couple kids from high school and college even. Gabe from OU and Todd Bailey and Aaron Longkey from Academy. We jokingly had the Erie Otters fan club, or the Albuquerque chapter of the Erie Otters fan club, which was, I think, the first New Mexico chapter of that particular team's fandom.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a Carnage episode, although I could talk about Aaron all day. He's great. He's good people.
Pod Carnage.
You broke some news last week, 2 weeks ago.
I've been a busy little boy, yeah.
You have been the busiest of boys.
No, you have to, though.
Well, I don't know. You've been wearing a lot of different hats. You've been multiple boys in one. You've been boys to men. Boys to men.
Multiple boys in one. There's the episode title.
Oh, God. I think that would... Anyway, you've been busy lately.
Yeah. So we decided we're just going to self-publish the damn thing. But there's a lot more to that than if someone else picked it up and gave us a budget and did the work for us.
If somebody's listening to the show for the first time, what is that thing?
Novella, right? That's what you wanted from me?
I don't know. Your audio cut out.
Oh, we are publishing a novella based on a character that I think I made up offhand on the show called Ron Carnage, the Thinker Boy, which was your contribution, the Thinker Boy.
Yes. The old Elemental team slapped it up, and we had a lot of stuff that had entertained us back in the day, back when you were doing your Elemental business, and now we're just going to toss it out into the world.
Yeah, not without a ton of work beforehand. You know, I have been reaching out to several different graphic artists and whatnot, have put up several deposits and payments for commissions on a full print edition spread for the book, ebook version as well. And the absolute most exciting thing I may have ever been a part of is, well, we were talking about having the characters illustrated.
Yeah.
And this dude, Cameron McCafferty, who did Gene, I'm looking at the framed illustration on my wall right now, was going to do the characters, and he's really busy with like finals at uni. So
is he Canadian?
I think so, or UK.
Ooh, okay.
So he was busy, so we were thinking, like, what else can we do? And I thought having, like, a world map would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Showing Mucklebuck and where Leon is in the river. But, like, we never really addressed too much of the landscape. Like, there's the world itself that we built isn't huge. So I found this, I was just searching Instagram for fantasy map and trying to find illustrators, and I found this town map that blew my fucking mind. And, well, the first thing was, find the regional one, and then we realized there wasn't really enough. So I found this girl who did really incredible fantasy maps, and she is going to be making a town map of Leon. Yeah. And we have been sketching it up to try to get the general gist of where Ron's house is, where the river goes, the Leon River, where the Leon bridges cross the river.
Whole reason the name, like the main town in the story is only
bridges.
Named that for a one-off joke that references a singer we liked at the time.
Right.
And still
which
like.
is genius. Leon Bridges.
Yeah.
Where the Nettle
And there's only a river
is.
in the world because one of his songs talks about a river. So that's how it kind of came together. Now that I think about it, was his song and you mentioning a fake name for the first time built the whole thing, really.
Which is just, I think, an incredible story. So we have like the nettle field, the hurling pitch,
right. Which nettles
castle.
are a real plant in our world, but it's super drugs in theirs. Right?
In the Ron Carnage world, right?
Yeah.
So it's been fun trying to like actually give this world life and trying to figure out like where the bar is, you know? Like it's to me it's so fun, and I can't wait to see it. And there's going to be like boats on the river and stuff. Like, I can't believe we're doing it. I'm so excited. And it's just going to be like printed in the book, but I'm definitely printing out like an 11 by 17 map for the wall somewhere. Like, I cannot wait to have this.
Yeah, I saw some tweet that was like, if I open a book and there's not a map on the first page, I'm out. Like, which right. I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, so we're either going to have just like on one page, or if it spreads both pages. The girl said that was an option. But dude, she sent like a legitimate contract with like, if lawyers are involved, this is how it's going down. This is Exhibit A. And I was like, damn, I've never actually signed a contract for artwork. And it actually made me feel really like comfortable.
Yeah.
Because it was like artist in like all caps and parentheses, you know, will deliver piece no later than by November 1st. And if this is not delivered by then, this is like the punishment. And the commissioner will pay this much by no later than this date. It's just like, to me, it's awesome because I've worked with people who are just like, hey, did you forget about that? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
So it's super awesome. And I commissioned a second piece from her for the Beard Balm Company.
Oh, nice.
And she was like, I can't say I've ever done a map for a beard company. I don't know, not to get too off topic, but it's kind of like video game based, the company. So I thought it would be fun to have different scents that are named after like fictional regions. Like the Great Forest would be like spruce scented, or spearmint would be like the northern peaks, you know? So we're going to do like this big regional map. And then if you click on the region that the scent is named after, it'll take you to that product page. So like we're doing like a volcano island with a scent based off of that place. And it's going to be like full color regional map. I'm just so hyped, dude. I'm so excited to see these places come to life. And
so the beard company's coming along, Beard Ball.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's not the number one priority right now. There's too many other things in the fire, whatever the saying is.
Do you have any orders for it or anything?
No. I've just given out some like samples to friends who I want to be like models on the website. I found this dude at the Tesla store who had the craziest beard I've ever seen. It was like maybe 2 feet long, and the mustache was like a foot long, and it was braided down like, oh dude, it was so good. So
wow.
I'm just trying to find a lot of different people for the site. I don't just want like a bunch of straight white guys, because like the whole part of the company is like, this isn't just the average branding and demographic, but this isn't about that. This is about Ron Carnage.
Well, it's about our endeavors.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for you. I was like, oh, dang, you got a map. Yeah. You got a little story behind your bombs. I'm excited. Jesse saw the Facebook post you put of you in your first batch or one of your test batches, and she was like, oh, cool. We're all rooting for you is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, thanks, man.
The comments were overly positive, and for good reason. You're a hard worker. You deserve anything good that comes to you, of course.
Thanks, Pat. I couldn't believe anyone gave a shit, because no one ever.
If you're listening to the show for the first time, we're pals, all right? You're going to have to deal with that. All right, we're here to support each other.
But seriously, Ron Carnage, we are rewriting and adding a lot.
Yeah, how are the edits
to this
going?
Story. They're coming really well. I think in the first write of the story, it was mainly focused on the funny parts.
Like brain diarrhea like, kind of getting dumped out.
Right. And like any semblance of a story, an arc was kind of like left behind for the most part. Like Ron can't remember things, but I don't think we ever addressed why he couldn't remember them.
Right.
Like,
and there was a recent one of the email chains that came down. I saw that there totally is, it gets addressed this time through, which is probably good.
Right. So we're making it more of like a true story, like with real drama, but that's still like funny, and the ending is going to make more sense and bring back different themes and objects from earlier in the book. We're trying to incorporate longer spanning themes just to give it some real character and story arcs.
Are you cool with doing the hurling thing as a bonus story included in the book?
I think maybe the first couple chapters. I don't think it should be the whole thing at once, because we can utilize 2 launches. Like, why put them into one, Well,
because I think it's the funniest thing, the hurling book.
Dude, I thought, okay, I haven't read the whole hurling thing because, again, busy boy.
Right.
But
right.
After
reading them both, I was like, okay, now that the characters are set and like we are all in this world together, damn, like the engine is running smoothest by that point is what the impression I got.
Okay.
For context, in the story, there's like a hurling team, which is an ancient, like the story kind of takes place in this fake medieval Ireland-ish, right? British Isles.
Yeah.
And the sport of hurling plays not a huge part, but some of the bar regulars are players for the local town, Leon Lugnuts.
It's mentioned, yeah.
Right. Like a fictional, of course, fake semi-pro team that's not very good and they drink a lot, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we wanted to do a stereotypical sports story about the team. And, it's not very long. It's called For the Love of the Hurl, in parentheses, a Ron Carnage story, of course. And that one made me giggle, I gotta say.
It's good, dude. I think how quickly people die. No.
Yeah, we kill off just a ton of characters just really fast. It definitely, I don't know. It takes a while to kind of set things up. I thought in the first one, because it started as just emails between coworkers, right? So it's just a bunch of scattered ideas. Anyway, For the Love of the Hurl, I would vote to include it just because there would be more to come anyhow, and just like, here's what we've built, and enjoy it if you want, I guess.
I think you can use the opportunity of the first book to sell the second one at a later date.
Ooh.
That's all I'm thinking.
I was thinking if it's separate, have it ready at the time of the original launch anyhow.
Do you know how much I have to do by Christmas?
Well, we don't have to do it by Christmas at all. We don't even have to do it at all. It's already brought us a lot of joy in our lives.
Yeah, I know. I would love to have a Christmas launch just to get it going. Like all the rewrites are happening really fast once we put the deadline on it.
Yeah.
So artwork, it's all gonna make sense. Plus, I'm trying to finish it this year so I can focus on the beard product stuff next year.
Yeah. No, you're probably right about the Love of the Hurl. I just am more excited about that one, I guess, in the weirdest way.
Sure. I mean, that's going to need some like rewrites and stuff too. I don't think we can do both at once.
Yeah, no, that one's super bare bones because there's a storyline about the team's owner being like a gangster that's in debt to the mob, but it just fizzles out and doesn't get mentioned after a certain point. So we either got to kill him too or just make smooth some edges out for sure.
Yeah. So I think that we can maybe plan on doing like 2 short stories a year. You know, I think that would be fun. Just crank out as many things in the Ron Carnage world as we can, grow the world, get some new regions in there, get the region map, and just have like everything mention elements of the previous books. I just think it'll be fun. And when you put out a lot of content that's hopefully good, one of them should hit and then they'll all hit, right? Like I was listening to a self-publishing podcast and they said, if your first book doesn't do well, just keep writing. You know, this guy who's like a super successful author said he wrote like 12 books, self-published. One of them hit, became a bestseller, and then the previous 12 like all became bestsellers overnight because the one hit. So he said just never stop, which I thought was really good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just get the first one out.
Yeah. And I mean, this is going to be like the biggest event of them all. Like paying a lot of money for like proper artwork and book covers and stuff. I think all the rest of the short stories will be like a really simplified version of the artwork. We already talked about it, like using different earth tone colors for the book with like a different icon, which represents the theme of that story. But just like that one little icon changes from book to book. But I would love to put out a bunch of short stories. And I mean, my like best case scenario is that Adult Swim picks it up for like a TV show, you know?
It's definitely weird enough to fall into that portion of pop culture. Who knows? It's weird, and it's been goofy to giggle with you reading it, for sure. It's honestly some of the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. Almost to the point where when it gets released, people are going to be like, I'm not sure we follow, but if nothing else, it's when we read it, it's funny to talk about.
But we've kind of mentioned like neither of us are stoners, but like, is this a stoner book?
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. Reading back through, it's like, oh, damn it, this is a weed book. You know, it's just like, this is a super, what's that movie with Danny McBride where he and Natalie Portman are in like this medieval super high? No, not Super High Me. That was the documentary. Not How High. Man, there's a lot of stoner movies out there. But so we're trying to steer it away from just because a character, I don't even know how I think Nettles was another thing that might have spurned your wife. Now that I think about it, dude, she hates me.
No, she thinks it's funny. She
Okay.
said every time she sees the word Nettles, she sends me a picture and is like, send this to Pat.
Oh, okay. No.
She also has like 50-pound bags of Nettles at work, which is like the bag is like the size of a human body. She's like, Pat, check out these Nettles.
I love it. Settle Some Nettle Business was a very early reminiscent episode.
So
we got art. We're doing a rewrite, a reorganization.
With the map that we're working on, we've had discussions about where things should be. Do you want to try to hash some of that out now?
I'd love to, because, you know, why else are we here? And again, if you haven't heard the episode that we did called Tuscaloosa Slug Butt, and you're like, well, I've heard enough about Carnage, go listen to that. It's probably the best show we've ever done.
Possibly, yeah.
It might be. Everything kind of came together. If you haven't heard it, you should go listen to it. But we're about to go pretty deep into the Ron Carnage stuff now. Hang out if you want. If not, see you next week. I hope you have a nice day. But yeah, in terms of you wanted the castle to be on the river for sure.
I think that would definitely be where a castle would be because it's already protected from one side, right? So like we have a river that's in like a loose U shape, the castle on the pointiest part, and like some kind of grand gate, stone wall outside.
Yeah.
That makes sense for a castle, right?
I'm on board so far.
Okay. So my question is, the town center that has all the houses, all the downtown establishments, the bar, being the Fiddle Inn, and the Leon Lantern, the local newspaper headquarters, all that is in the town center, kind of on the river as well, with like some docks and ports and small sailboats and stuff. Is that gated in as well, or is that more just like open to the wilderness out to the east?
I think in the castle walls, you'd protect the stuff that makes the government aspect of it run, like the stockyards and stuff, or if there were cells and things like that. But Ron slips in pretty frequently to the bar with Levi. He doesn't drink, but he goes and hangs out with his buds. But I think if he had to go through walls to do it every time, his main nemesis that runs the castle, Mac, would just be too aware of him. So I think for him to have to go through any type of large security to go to the bar or go into town. He lives out in the wilderness. But I think the wall is protecting just a core version of what makes the government aspect of the castle run. And then just like the surrounding town would be near it, but not necessarily protected.
Gotcha. Okay.
But maybe there's an emergency. I don't know. I'm trying to think like the logistics. We haven't done the necessary research, which we probably should do in terms of like castle community security plans. Or, I don't know.
So maybe not then like a proper stone wall with guards, but just like
there's a castle where the main family lives, and then there's a surrounding town with I don't know, like the dock workers, like the docks aren't within the walls, right? Like, so there is activity outside the walls.
Okay. And for anyone who's trying to follow along, I'll put in the show notes the hand-drawn map that I did. Show notes will be reminiscentpodcast.com/episodes.
Pre-order the book. Why don't you?
Pre-order the book. Yeah. We totally could put that up.
Yeah. If you tweet us, we'll give you.
So the nettle field would be across the river to the west, kind of like hidden in the wilderness, right? Like there would be trees and overgrown patches with like, is a nettle field like a perfectly...
Yeah, I don't know. What does the DEA call? Like they put it like a level 2 or like a grade B narcotic or whatever. I don't know if this particular governing body has labeled nettles as anything like that. Because I guess in the story it's supposed to be weed. I picture it being hidden. Like it's kind of a not talked about but understood rule that you're not supposed to, kind of like in Denver, right? You're not supposed to be walking around in the middle of the road. But if you do it
you're not supposed to, but
right, you do it in your house, you're okay, something like that.
Right. So then, so the nettle fields, and also part of the story, Molly
hidden to a certain degree.
Right. And a part of the story, Molly sneaks away and is in the nettle fields to get away from Mac when she runs into Ron. Correct?
Yeah. I don't think she plans on meeting him there, but that's definitely an interesting part of the story.
Why is Ron there? Wouldn't they have to be closer to his house then?
I think he knew she was going to be there, so
okay,
he wanted to see her, I think.
Sure. Yeah, so Ron's house is going to be like...
She's the love interest, right?
Into the woods. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Northeast into the woods is Ron's house, rolling hills.
Whoa. No, I picture the field being like south of the bridges almost. Like the castle's near the bridges, but I don't know if the castle's near the bridges either.
Field.
Yeah.
Southwest.
I'm anxious for the map maker to come back and show us what it is, because I'm like, I have all these pieces in my head. It's almost better that someone else is putting it together, because
for sure.
There's too many conflicting things. Like, where do you put a hurling field? I mean, it's just a field, really. I mean, it's not like there's a parking structure or anything, right? Like no one's
so like
park
I was thinking there might be sort of like a stadium aspect,
benches or something. Nothing too. I don't even know how you would put that on a map.
Like a hacked together Coliseum, but like on a very small scale.
Yeah. You're speaking exactly what was in my head.
So that's going to be, I guess, over the river adjacent to the nettle field, which is going to be like in just kind of an open, barren field. Because, I mean, if you think about any or most professional sports, like football or whatever, it's not usually like downtown. It's like
although I think it sprawls east. I think it sprawls east. Like I think anything west of the river, which runs north and south more or less, is wooded.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
And then castle, town center, bar on the outskirts. And then you would have to pass the bar to go further east. There's a little more of a wooded area north along the river to the east where Ron's house kind of is, maybe. And then the open field is kind of southeast of the castle.
Yeah, exactly.
So people would have to wander outside of town to get to it.
For sure.
But the river is like a natural wall, it'd be tough to attack from the west, right? Which is kind of why they probably built the castle there in the first place.
Exactly. It's perfect. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. Credit to you, by the way, for doing the map research necessary to...
Well, hey, I pretty much am copying this other one, which you just like flipped horizontally to change it up enough. So.
Yeah. I just took it into my iPhone, saved the image, and flipped it upside down. I was like, ready to get your mind blown, asshole? Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, though. So.
It's like, what if we turn it upside down and draw 2 lines where bridges are supposed to go? The Leon bridges. It's like Nick Cage and National Treasure, like, oh, it's upside down the whole time. Now it spells spaghetti.
So the map is going to be so sick. I can't wait. November 1st, we're going to have the map back. And I want to use it as kind of promotional materials. I don't really know like what else, though. Like, I think it would be fun, and we've kind of talked about this too, to try to build a mailing list for pre-launch stuff. And in the mailing list, every week or maybe twice a week, give like
give me a price. $5
for the book.
Yeah.
Well, I think the ebook should be like 3 or 4.
That's
and
fine.
Then the physical version is pretty much up to Amazon, but I think it's usually between like $12 and $17.
And mostly you're just paying for the actual physical printing process.
Right. Like, I don't think we would make a huge profit off of it.
I'm down with making the ebook cheap, just because we mostly just want people to enjoy it with us, right? Like Matt and some of the fans of the show.
I would like to ask the audience a question.
Sure.
So we have this town map, right? I think it'll be fun to have, in the 6 weeks leading up to the book release, 2 super short stories a week. And on this map, we'll have like sections of the map lettered or numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it corresponds to like a short story. So like say every, I don't know, Tuesday and Friday, an email goes out. You look at the map and you'll see, oh, this is week 1. So you look at the map, you see where the 1 is. And then that crazy short story, like 3 paragraphs, is based on that area of the town map. So you can like kind of feel like you know where this is taking place.
Should they be book excerpts? I don't know. The only reason that scares me is, can you be as funny as you need to be to build hype? Because that's 5 opportunities to bore people also. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you want to think about it that way and just think of worst case, this isn't going to be funny or interesting. But like the dialogue in the book is so funny. You can easily do 3 paragraphs back and forth of Levi, Flappy, and Ron.
Yeah, but it's only funny in context. You know what I mean? It's just like people swearing a lot in 3 paragraphs is like, what the heck? I feel like it'd be a large risk with the payoff would be, I don't know, that just scares me a lot. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I think you know more about marketing. I'm just saying in execution. And again, the idea is strong, but in this case, it'd be hard to explain why there's an octopus and a human dude playing hurling. You know what I mean? In 3 paragraphs.
So you think excerpts might be?
I don't even know. I don't know. That's why we had talked loosely about like more of an image-based thing and let the image do the talking. Like an idea that we probably aren't going to do, but crossed our minds was like taking American Gothic or Nighthawks and photoshopping the heads of characters back when we were going to illustrate them onto classic paintings to try to explain the dynamics that way and build hype through classic art meme things, kind of in the weeks leading up. That was going to be a little confusing, and then we decided to go the map route. But I do like the idea of doing, obviously emails, building a list, getting people excited, pre-orders, stuff like that. But I will say the excerpt part scares me just because, like, I don't know. Not that we can't do it, but I don't know. Can you understand why I would be fearful?
Yeah, I get that. What if we split the map into like 10 pieces and every week we email a piece of like the puzzle that all gets put together over time?
Ooh, I like the puzzle.
I don't know. And that's kind of like...
Oh, dude, is Gene going to be in the river in the map?
Oh, dude, he should be.
Dude.
So... what would you want on a pre-launch email campaign if you were anticipating a book? What would get you hyped to buy the book? Like, what would make it so that you had to pre-order it, whether you knew anything about us or the story or anything? You can tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. Let us know. Because I want to do it right. I want this thing to be huge. I want to sell 100,000 copies, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it did. Very sure.
If we sell 10, I'll still be stoked.
Yep. Get the best $30 we ever made. We'd split it 50-50. Each make $15.
Each lose $500.
Yeah. No, it'll be worth it. Just the joy you'll get from hanging that map on your wall will be worth. It's been fun.
Well, also, I have an overworld map of A Link to the Past, one of the Super Nintendo Zelda games, and I just want our world to be up there along with it.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fun as so.
Yeah, it has been fun.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, if no one buys it, it'll all still be worth it.
Yeah, this is the part where the fear definitely creeps in, right? Where you're like, hey, remember when we had all those fun with the dudes that used to be at Elemental, and it, now it's like, oh, do you think it could work? Be like, why the heck not? I mean, it's the internet. Just put it out on Amazon on the ebook. It's super easy. And now it's like, yeah, but should we? But we've already got the map, so we're doing it. It's just interesting. Yeah.
Plus, I think that the rewrites and the stuff we're adding are going to make it much more palatable and like worth people's time, I guess. Because either way, it's going to be funny. But like if people get to the end and we're like, wait, so what happened? Right. Like there needs to be a proper story, and I think we're adding that now.
In my head, and again, you don't want to explain it before people consume it on their own, but I guess before it was just a bunch of bits jammed in together. I guess when we're done with it, the goal would have been it to be like a story.
Right.
But hopefully the enjoyment comes from the laughs throughout, as opposed to like, man, that super huge ginormo Marvel ending was super thirst quenching. It's like hopefully the joy comes from just like, this is weird, but I kind of like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's almost a bunch of short stories in itself. Like one of the chapters is just a mini murder mystery at the bar that is kind of Monty Python in the sense that it's kind of like, and now for something completely different. And you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really fit, but kind of does. Like it's loosely written in to like the guy that, I don't want to give too much away, but like it could stand alone for sure. But we wrote it in, and it's just whatever mood we were in that day, kind of. I don't know.
Well, I think of it as like, as much as I hated these segments on Garfield when they had like the Barnyard Pals or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Which is honestly...
There's a few cutaways.
One of my favorite pieces of pop culture in the last 50 years, without a doubt. I freaking love Sheldon.
But I think it'll all work together a lot better now. I sent a version off to this guy who I think I commented something about podcasting on a friend's Facebook page, and he saw it. He wanted to get into podcasting, so he added me and we talk every now and then. But I believe he does, like, he's an author of several graphic novels. So he was kind of talking to me a little bit through it. I sent him the book and was like, yo, this is before the rewrite. I sent it off to the guy doing the artwork just to get a feel for it so he can know what he's drawing a little bit better. And
what's the feedback from them?
Nothing yet. I mean, I just sent it off like a couple of days ago. So
and I sent it to Eric Brown in Erie, and he liked it, but he and I have similar senses of humor.
Right.
So it's like, if he didn't, that would have been bad.
Well, I definitely think the story, like having a storyline, is going to make it more broadly marketable or relatable or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be overall better in every way.
The map is definitely going to be like the major. Come for the map, if nothing else. It'll be worth $4 of your dollars.
I just can't wait to like explore it, Like,
yeah.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Literally limitless possibilities, especially because half of it takes place just in Southern California in modern times. So, right, so almost actually zero things are off limits. So,
right.
So that's cool.
So Carnage, we're looking at a Christmas release, maybe day before or after. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the week before. Hope like if we can get it together by then, just to like last minute Christmas gift idea,
Yeah. So I'm gonna revamp whoisroncarnage.com. I still own the domain. It actually renews in like a couple weeks. So I
do like the idea of that being the part of the marketing. It's just Who is Ron Carnage. Who is Ron Carnage.com.
So that site's gonna be back up. I think I might just throw a form in there for now for people to give me their email addresses so they can keep in touch. But as we get the artwork back, I'll be adding that. And, I would love to put some excerpts of the book, the illustration of Gene, maybe get some like reviews, whether they're real or not. It's just something for people to read and get excited about,
Yeah. I don't know if the first chapter would be the best excerpt or not. We'd have to revisit that idea maybe. I forget. It's hard because when you get so into it, you're like, I forget which part of this is the better part.
Right. Right. So it's been a really fun experiment. I was really hesitant to the self-publishing thing, but
the people who have been listening to this show from episode 0 through 100, of which there are several, and again, that's forever surprising to me. You've heard a lot about the whole process, so hit us up. Let us know what you think.
So before we get out of here, we have a very special edition of O Canada coming. You all know about our sister station in Winnipeg, but did you know about their sister station in Vancouver?
Whoa.
We have a very special Canadian named Aaron coming on the show this week to deliver a very important message.
A large honor, spelled Honour.
And now to you, Aaron, in Vancouver.
Oi! Oi! Oi, you! You in the car! Hey! Hey! Ellen! 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 She's not Ellen. Oh, sorry.
Thanks, Aaron. That was riveting news. Really don't know what we would have done without that. We appreciate you. And long live the Queen.
Yeah, long live the Queen.
So, do you want to give another song of the week, and then you can start packing for your wedding? Future you is already married, and whatnot.
Future you is either going to be very upset with what I'm about to do, or will be very pleased that I have enough clean socks. Kind of weird time travel vibes going on here in my bedroom. John. Yeah, I'll go. This isn't necessary. So the new Death Cab, did we already do that?
You mentioned it to me. Megan and I listened to it like 4 times on the way to her hike, and
I've heard mixed reviews. I like it. I've only listened to the first like 3 or 4 songs, and I like some of them. But it was funny because it came out after we did the apology episode, and you had mentioned something to me off the air about the name. Anyway, the name of the first song on that album I was just like, man, Death Cab, always there for us. But I think this isn't new, but Wendy's Trashcan by Rozwell Kid. Rozwell spelled R-O-Z.
Rozwell Kid.
I friggin' love that song, and I've been rocking to it this week, and I'll try to get more new stuff, but also it's a good one. I like it a lot.
Cool. I know that
I'm curious to see I've never asked you to listen to these lately, but I'm curious what you think of that song as well.
I've listened to Rozwell Kid.
Yeah, you like them?
I forget who recommended it, and they have some really cool guitar work.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a listen.
Yeah, check them out.
I know I just recommended Like Pacific last week, aka 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But the first track from their new album, In Spite of Me, is the title track, is super duper good. Just the dude's voice is incredible, so powerful, and I'm a big fan.
I'm glad. I'm feeling good.
Good, man.
I've been sitting on this chair for a while.
Yeah.
It's been
this is like we used to just record this long for one episode.
Can you even imagine? Man, just in that Cleveland apartment closet, actually in a closet.
A literal closet.
Hearing beer bottles clank together as I bumped against the table, taking bathroom breaks in the middle of recording and stuff.
I don't know.
What a mess.
I don't know how many times I've taken out like that weird burp where you exhale everything at once.
Yeah. Like it's the moisture density of the actual breath coming out is disturbingly high. Like
you can smell it from
I think it's like a low-end puking session is what it is, really. You just breathe puking. A lot of Yingling foam getting digested for sure. Our Australian friend even spoke up on Twitter about it, and just said like, so either Pat's living his best life right now, or you guys are in a dark place, or something. It was just
he's like, funny. No, either Pat drinks less, or you got better at editing.
Yeah, right. Which is possibly both true. Definitely. Yingling was my girlfriend when Jesse and I were apart. So,
oh, Christ.
Christ indeed.
Well, Pat, I'll let you get ready for your wedding. I have an unlimited amount of podcasts to edit before I leave. I was just given a 7-hour podcast to edit.
I didn't even know those existed. That sounds awful.
It's insane. Yeah.
Cool. I'm sure it is insane. I don't want to. I'm like, hey, Tom, will you bash your clients on there? No, I'm just kidding. They're all good and everything's great. And what's that? Oh, what's it? The frick is that album? Oh, yeah. Limbeck. Hi, everything's great.
Right.
Actually, In Ohio on Some Steps. That's always my song recommendation.
Banger.
It is. Anyway, I love you, man. And it has been a pleasure chatting with you this afternoon. Yeah, hopefully my future self is just kind of making it up those steps one at a time.
Yeah, man. Love you too. I will see you in 48 hours.
Yep. In the wild, wild west.
And that means for the listeners 12 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. You will have seen me last week. Chew on that for a little while. Bye, everybody.
Ba, 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 ba.